Hello and welcome back. I'm bballjo and this is a review of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Today from Peter. He submitted his second republic so far, and this republic is on the Lubyansk uninhabited version found on the Steam and in the link below. And this republic, it's not the biggest by far, but it has a lot of character and all the pieces fall together so nicely that I wanted to show it to you. The first thing that I think we want to point out here is that this city is really close to the industries, and that's a theme for this map, which I haven't seen before, not in this extent, not on hardest difficulties, and not with a pollution of about 20% actually sitting there and affecting your citizens, but everything seems to work just fine. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a closer look at that. There is a clear separation of non-residential buildings to industries, and industries that have higher pollution output seem to be sitting a little further back. Like we have this incinerator. It sits pretty far back from these guys, probably not as far as it needs to, but far enough where we can handle the pollution. Same with the waste treatment plant out here, but everything else, just a lot of logistics buildings that separate the city from the rest, and that make a really nice, let's call it zipper connector to the city and the industry sectors right here. So that's something I haven't seen before. The cities themselves, let's look at them a little closer. They have nice greenery, they have nice buildings that do flow together, and they have a pretty well organized grid. I don't see any traffic jams, and we have plenty of personal cars driving around, so that's pretty cool. Of course, in the middle of the city, we do have the watchtower to make sure that nobody's doing anything stupid. But yeah, we wouldn't have to worry about that, right? Thank you, Rain. There was a request to let this run while I do the review, and it's fine. We're at almost 20 FPS when we look this way, so it's not that terrible, but we do see weather coming through, which is actually really going to be really nice when we get to later at night. But so far, that's the city. We have another refinery sitting over here right next to the border. That will get a nice connection to the ships that want to do whatever they need to do here. And of course, we have the beach right next to the refinery so that the workers can cool down during the day, because that's something they absolutely need. We have a couple border connections here with the pipes that will make life pretty easy in terms of making money. So that's all pretty nice. Peter did start this in 1948. So this republic was built in just barely 40 years, 42 years, so that's an accomplishment, I think. That's pretty nice. I know that usually when I build it doesn't go that fast, but very cool. We have this big industrial sector sitting over here, and I always do appreciate it when people use the painting tools that we have available in-game to just separate out a couple things. And I would call this, let's zoom out so we can actually see some, turn the UI off. I would call most of what you see on this map organized chaos. It's not chaotic. It is organized chaos. It is, everything has a purpose. Everything goes somewhere, and the industries kind of just all play together. So we have a power plant here that has a lot of wires going in and out in all of these places. That makes sense. We have the heating plant. We have different, processing plants for coal, etc., because we do need that here. We need a lot of coal for the steel plant, and that kind of just fits into all of what's going on here. We have a rail loading and unloading, and you can barely even tell that we have all these rail lines running through where they are. So all of those things work out pretty well. There's a train that looks like it's not even going to run on anything, but all of these things work out really well. But it's just this big conversion of all the different industries all at the same time. I think that's pretty cool. So let's move on. We have a couple cities that are sitting up in the mountains. We have this guy here, which is, what are you, an iron mine? That's pretty cool. Kind of, it looks really nice in that little plateau area over there. Maybe there's another one. No, that's a coal mine, but a big one. And then we have a lot of gravel sitting out here, and a lot of conveyor belts that do exactly what you need them to do. Just get everything to a location where you can then actually process it with, well, it looks like we're going straight into this industry. I think something that I will point out, because I always hackle on this one, is the conveyor belts are not too long. There is just the right amount of conveyor belting happening down here to be like, yep, they come from the mountains, but it's not far enough to need a train, so let's just build them like this, and it's just going to be part of the landscape now. I think that's pretty neat. We have the, well, iron mine city sitting up here. It is fenced in because we don't want anyone to leave that's not supposed to leave yet. We have a little bit of a traffic jam going on there. I don't know if that was me speeding up the game or what's going on here, but a bunch of buses would like to go somewhere. Just a small bus stop. This is scary and impressive to see, but that's fine. But yeah, this little mountain town literally has everything that anyone would ever want or need. We have a small shopping center. We have a hospital. We have our indoor pool. We have our soccer field. Our kindergarten and everything else that needs to go in here. And I'm assuming this is relatively well staffed, that nobody really has any issues. So that's pretty neat. This looks like an iron processing plant, and it's just close enough where pollution doesn't matter as much, but it's far enough away where everyone is healthy enough. 88%. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Average lifespan of 81. That's pretty good. I think once you're over 80, you're normally doing okay with your population growth. So that's pretty nice. And then trees everywhere where we have a city. There are some trees planted and set up, and they will take care of everything that you need there. So that's pretty cool. That's the first two parts of this republic. Then we go to this place. I'm going to call it the Pentagon. I don't know if you can tell why, but there you go. Let's call it that. Not sure why that was chosen. It doesn't look like the roads that are up here on the bridges have any purpose. But it looks interesting. It's a different shape. It's a different something going on. And then we have, is this residential? Yes, these are residential, and it almost looks like a gate into the city where you have to pass through to do something useful. And it's interesting. It's very interesting to see what happened here, because look at all these things. The city itself is relatively spread out. There's not a lot of tightness besides this little middle square. And yeah, then there's the outside of the building. So it almost looks like these are barracks where just the low-level workers are supposed to stay and do all the things that they're doing here. They have then access to a sports hall because, sure, maybe this is a sport complex back in the day that was pretty regular, where you have an Olympic place where all the athletes of a country will just come together and train and be trained and other things to compete at the Olympics. Maybe this is a place like that. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a Pentagon shape besides the actual Pentagon in the US, so maybe there's another one out there that I don't know anything about. Would be interested to hear what's going on there. But then we have another thing here. Instead of having a big gap between the polluter and the city, we just have a bunch of logistics sitting here to make sure everything runs smoothly. What's interesting with this city is I don't see any railroads connecting to the different storage units. There, I guess that's a prison, repair station, sure. But yeah, I don't see any deliveries done by train up here in the mountains. So be interested to see how the logistics work with that. Probably, I'm guessing, well, let's move. Where do I move? Where do I move to? I'm going to move down here really quick because this is our uranium supply. So we get that stuff set up and figured out here so we can get our, uranium processed. That's important because we need that for anything else. Over here, new city. Most of the cities are also kind of laid out like the industries that we already looked at, where it's organized enough that it feels like it's organized, but then it gets a little chaotic like over here. There's meat production in here, and then clothing I see over there. And what is this one? That's a food factory. That's a modded food factory. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here, and as you can see, the roads are kind of all over the place, but it doesn't seem too busy. It seems like, yeah, this works. We have a tram route that's able to turn around, has a couple different, that's the power plot. Okay. Power comes in there. There's a turnaround spot right here, so they can do whatever they need to do. And then, yeah, we have trains running in here too. There's the tram connection to the train route. It kind of just works, right? It does feel like it wasn't completely planned from the beginning, but it does also look like it's totally working and everything is fine. We got some tram-only route or tram-only pathing over here, which is always a nice sight to see. But yeah, we even have some nicer fancy buildings there, and then a roundabout with our, bunch of monuments. Just making sure everyone is affected by the monuments that we need there, which is super important because monuments affect your loyalty and you want to make sure that you have that taken care of. Sweet. This one, the palace. Yes, it just looks like a city from a movie. And there's a couple of those where it's just like the city is so vast and it doesn't even matter if it's industry or not. But the city is so vast, it's just like, this is a big piece of property. And I would call this a jewel of this map so far, because there's just so much going on that you probably don't see right at the beginning. So let's just get started. Let's look at this. Residential over here. We have a bunch of small underground reservoirs. Interesting. Why are they here? Why do we need those? But that's what's happening. So there's a water production zone right here that is walled off and people can work. And we have our water wells, one treatment plant, another treatment plant right here, making sure that everything is taken care of, and then some greenery around that. And then we have our way more planned city than the other cities that we've looked at so far that is sitting outside of this. And the amount of greenery is pretty impressive. Thank you, Autosave. We need you, definitely, because we need to play this. But the amount of greenery that is invested in the cities seems quite just large. And then, yeah, we have all our normal industrial setups here. The radio station for broadcasting propaganda and other things is set up nice into the mountains. There are several, looks like higher ranking official residences sitting out here to make sure that everyone gets what they deserve or not, depending on how you want to look at that. But they're taken care of pretty well right here with the industries. There's too much rain now. Thank you. What else is going on? Well, we have, the greenery again, and then we get into more residential areas right here and over here as well. And just a nice snaking of different train routes, etc. And we can see everything a little better during the day, so I want to make sure that we keep staying there for right now. But yeah, we have a lot of rail actually moving around here. That's another big tram depot sitting right there. We have a rail construction office here in range of pretty much everything else that we care about. Something on fire, because why not? Another heating plant here. That takes coal that's relatively close to everything, but not too close. All the residential areas that we have here are really concentrating on the radio station, on the TV station in that area, and then a lot of transport, a lot of public and private transport. This is because I just sped up the game a little bit. That's taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of. And then, yeah, tram-only routes getting us to where we want to go, to all the different places. But then also cool things like this. If you just stay here for a couple seconds, you should see a lot of personal cars adding a lot of liveliness to this map, because they come and they go as much as they want to. This is the large chemical plant that was added not too long ago in the vanilla branch. And it's nice to have these things just so active. Yes, active. And personal cars definitely make stuff active. But they also add challenges in transportation and logistics and other things. And as you can see, the waste containers here are pretty full, so we do want to see more and more of these guys coming by to make sure none of that stuff gets backed up or anything. But that's a challenge if you add a lot of personal cars, but this map definitely has a lot of them already driving around. Doesn't help you out FPS, but it does help the look and feel of the map itself. So that's pretty cool. The industries overall are relatively normal setup. We have some nuclear fuel fabrication setup over here, and that looks pretty static. But look at the use of just the extra paintbrushes that we have. When they're used, I think they're very appropriately placed. I really like the layout of the city, the look of the city. It's just like, it has everything. I don't need to expand anywhere else. We just keep building like we did before, and life will just work out. Here's our nuclear power plant. Yes, we have a lot of extra power running through there, and then we go into underground wires that we probably don't want to look at because they're always super busy. But this takes care of everything that we need, and it's kind of part of the city, kind of not, kind of its own landmark right there. But everyone knows, yep, industry over here, smoke over here. Just don't go there unless you work there, and everyone will be fine. So that's pretty cool. The last one, we have the collective farm sitting out here, and I think you can guess why it's called that way. Obviously, the crops that we're getting is a main driver for a lot of the industries that are running right now. And Oh, there's another one. Is this another small city? I didn't realize that we had another small city here for the farm. Oh, what are you guys doing? There's a prison. I don't see an industry here that you guys are working on. What are you guys doing out here? Maybe this is something that is planned on for later that we want to use then. But it is sunset. Let's go one quick run over when the sun is setting, and then there is a car setup for us that is supposed to take us through the whole Republic to show us everything that's going on. So thank you very much, Peter, for sending me this one. Another great Republic to show. While you're watching, all of you, Season X is starting on Friday, June 7th at 9 a.m. This will probably be the last review before the 1.0 branch releases, and I'm very excited to see what you guys can come up with the full release of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This map was great to see. It's not the biggest, but it does everything that you need, and this is still dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of work, and it just takes a long time to get something pretty put together like this. I love it. Keep sending them to me, please, because I would like to do more. Whenever I get them, I will show them, but we'll see what the future holds and what you can do with this game after it actually gets fully released. So thank you very much for watching. We will jump into the car now and see where it takes us, and that will be it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.